What a hell of the year has been for cryptos, the 2022. Literally each month something happened, and unfortunately what happened, it wasn't a good thing. Are you sure that you remember all of the happenings? Because in this video we will go through them, but most of all we'll try to understand also what we can learn from all the experiences that we made during this year, because literally it has been incredible. Like this year is not just because we lost so much money in terms of market cap, in terms of Ethereum has gone down by 70%, Bitcoin again, most of the altcoins are down by 90, 95, 99%. But the reality is that even in this kind of scenario, we can still learn a lot because cryptos, at least in my opinion, are here to stay, and all of these happenings are helping us to improve and to make the ecosystem a better place. Okay, let's start immediately. Just let me say that everything that we say in this channel is about educational content, nothing has to be intended as financial advice. And don't forget, guys, to leave us a big thumbs up and drop a comment to the comment section below, because that's the best way to help us. It's a completely free way, and it is really useful. And guys, don't forget also to check our description into the description section below, where you can find our weekly newsletter, Twitter account, and so on, and also all the other ways to support us in our job. Okay, guys, let's start immediately with January. In January, we were still having the hope or seeing something good for cryptos, but a reality that probably most of the people took the hardest hit, at least from the moral point of view, from the mood of the community, because Wonderland was the project that really has been able to attract so much attention, but unfortunately it ended up in the worst way possible. As you can see from this news, in January we discovered that the CFO of Wonderland was the co-founder of Quadriga, not to mention that Sifu was not only the co-founder of Quadriga, that was an exchange that has been also made a series, or better, a movie by Netflix, and it has been a scandal, incredible scandal by this Canadian exchange. But Sifu had also passed with a lot of criminal records. And the reality is that this brought the price of Wonderland to simply grow from, as you can see from this chart, from 100,000 to not even 20, with a drop by 87% in just a couple of days. So an insane hit already just at the beginning of the year. Going on, because unfortunately the year is not getting better, and we are looking at February, we will see that we had one of the greatest ever hack in the history of DeFi. We're talking about Wormhole, that was and it still is a bridge, even if right now it changed the name in a Portal Bridge. Probably also because Wormhole, the brand, was quite fucked up after this big hack where they lost 325 million. Fortunately, this situation has been helped by the VCs, by the fans of the project, because they were having enough money to cover this hole. And that's something that made the whole difference, because the difference between Wormhole and all the other projects that were suffering this kind of similar situation, because unfortunately, as you will see, during 2022, we have seen many projects failing due to hacks or mistakes. But unfortunately, they weren't lucky enough like Wormhole to have enough money to be able to cover a hole of 325 million. If we give a look to March, you will see that March was the moment when Cronje quits DeFi. And if you don't know who is Cronje, well, he was one of the main voices when it comes to Phantom. And at that time, he was working on Solidly, a big project on Phantom. Unfortunately, this project hasn't been able to reach the success as it was supposed, and after a lot of pressure, Cronje simply left. And if you're wondering what happened to the price of FTM, well, it simply crashed just in a couple of days by before 20%, 40%, and after that, from the top to where we are right now, we are down by around 95%. And that's really a shame if you think about, because the Phantom ecosystem was one of the most prolific with really good protocols, good ideas, good execution. But after Cronje left, everything has been literally destroyed. The reality is that Cronje came back again in December, so just the other day, and we have still to understand what will be his role for real, and if he is here to stay or if he want to leave again. I really don't know. What I can say is that in the future, we need leaders that are taking for real full responsibility of the situation, because it's completely unacceptable to see a leader, someone that has so much power into the community, also for the price, is able to affect the price in a so bad way. You can't simply live from you wake up in the morning and you are not feeling the good mood. You're saying, okay, guys, I'm leaving. I don't think that the DeFi is anymore for me. What? You can't do that. If we want the industry to grow, we need people that are reliable, that are fully accountable for what they are doing. That's the hope that I have for the next year. Going on, because unfortunately, April is not getting better. And in April, something happened. It's called Beanstalk. It was a protocol that was having a stablecoin that was hacked by 182 million. There hasn't been so much talking about Beanstalk, but if you think about, we are still talking one of the greatest hacks ever, because we are anyway talking about $182 million, so much money, and the reality is that simply Beanstalk never had again the power to recover and to be able to start again, like for example what happened in February with Wormhole. But let's go immediately to May, because May, that has been the month when everything changed. Because until May, we still had some kind of hope that the crypto market maybe were resilient enough, because even if, as we have seen from January to April, we had 4 tough months with a lot of hacks, more than $500 million money that were simply disappeared due to hacks and vulnerabilities. We have seen leaders not taking responsibility and simply leaving and affecting the whole community, a big community. But even so, we had still hope. After what happened with Terra, in that moment, the market changed completely. I don't think that it's necessary to explain to you what happened to Terra. Unfortunately, the algorithmic stablecoin USD that was minted using Luna collapsed, and with in a way that we are still wondering who was behind. It doesn't matter the end of the story. What matters is that a 60 billion project simply collapsed and has gone to zero. And unfortunately, the consequences weren't just about all of us, because all of us were exposed to Luna, UST, and also the different DeFi protocols of the Terra ecosystem. That, to be fair, the different DeFi protocols of the Terra ecosystem were even pretty good from the user experience point of view and from the design, from the kind of utility. But everything has gone to zero. Everything has simply disappeared. But that's not the worst part, because just from the month after, the reality is that we have started to see the consequences of this big collapse into the whole industry. And that's in June, when we see the Three Arrows Capital simply declaring, guys, we don't have enough money anymore to repay our debt, so we are declaring bankruptcy. And that's incredible. And the main point is that we're using leverage without any defense in place, just thinking that the crypto market will simply go to the moon. That's the wrong approach. We are not going to the moon, or maybe we will go sooner or later. But what if we are going it later? And right now we are going down, like what is happening. And what happened in that moment? Unfortunately, these projects, and I'm talking at the plural because just a month after Three Arrows Capital, another big player declared bankruptcy. And I'm talking about Celsius Network, that again said, guys, bye-bye, we don't have your money, we can't afford to give you back all the money, so we are simply saying Chapter 11, and who knows when we will be able to see again the money that are into the Celsius application. So we came to July. But in August, what happened that was so bad? Well, it is probably something that is not really about the crash of something, but is much more about compliancy and governance actions. And I'm talking about Tornado Cash. As you can see, this is the website of Tornado Cash that is not accessible for the simple reason that they have been disabled, meaning the DNS has been blocked by the government from US, and many different people that were using Tornado Cash has been labeled as dirty people, people that are using DeFi in the wrong way. And the main point, what the governments were saying, guys, you that you were using Tornado Cash, you are using it as for money laundering. That's the reason why they simply stopped it, and they have also arrested one of the developer of Tornado Cash. The reality is that the system is still operational, because remember, guys, a DeFi protocol, that's something that you can't block. Yes, you can obscure like the website, but the application is still running. It is simply requires a Tor or a VPN or the right way to access or to connect instead of using the interface provided by the website, just connecting directly to the machine that are hosting the application. Going on to September, September has been probably the best moment from one side for cryptos, because it has been the month when we have seen the merge going successfully to the end. So after years of talking about Ethereum, the merge and proof of stake and so on, finally in September we have seen it operationally. Unfortunately, also in this month we have seen a really bad hack, and I'm referring to the situation of Wintermute that was, or it still is, because the company is still existing, they are still doing well, or at least we hope they are doing well. Unfortunately, I'm saying I'm hoping because many crypto companies are struggling. I don't know the numbers of Wintermute because obviously the different reports and so on are not available, but reality is that in this case they lost 160 million due to a hack. And that's something that is pretty heavy. Exactly as it was heavy just the month after, and we are talking about October, what happened with Mango markets. And probably if on September we have seen an hack, so a single person that is stealing 160 million, simply disappearing with the money, the situation of Mango markets has been quite more curious. I would say even crazy, completely crazy, because after manipulating the price of the Mango token, the malicious player has been able to open a position with around 170 million and taking this money out, draining funds from the Mango protocols. If you want to know more about what happened into that situation, I suggest you to watch this video in the right corner here, where I'm explaining exactly what happened in detail. But the reason why it's really crazy what happened is that after that, the malicious player simply opened a poll into the governance framework saying, guys, I can give you back a part of the treasury if you allow me to retain the equivalent amount of what you have in the treasury. So he was saying, guys, from a Mango protocol, I know that you have this amount into the treasury. You can use this amount to replane the whole, and I will give you back the difference in order to fully make a Mango reliable from the point of view of giving the opportunity to users to retrieve their funds. And this proposal gone through, and the people that were hacking Mango markets received more than 50 million or something like that. I don't remember exactly the number, but the reality is that the amount of money was simply insane. Going on and arriving to the most unfortunate moment, that was November, when after the whole mess that we have seen into the whole year from Wonderland money, Wormhole, Cronje, Terra Luna, Celsius, 3 Arrows Capital, and I'm not even mentioning everything that happened to BlockFi, to Voyager, to Vault, and to the many other CeFi that failed. And I'm not mentioning it simply because we don't have time, and because what happened in November with FTX crash has been simply insane. We have seen Alameda FTX crashing badly, the FTT token going to zero, and this has been really a bad hit for the whole industry. And the main point is that how institutions will react. They will still be accelerating to join the party, or they will simply be scared. The reality is that we still don't know, because my feeling is that for players that were already with the mindset to go all in or to start pushing into the crypto market, they are still going, or that's just a better occasion to just go in because you are seeing better price. Like we have seen JP Morgan saying that they are open to increase their exposure to cryptos because they are thinking that at least for some of the assets, crypto assets, this is a good moment to start entering. On the other side, the reality is that many other players got scared. And that's exactly what we have seen in December, when Mazars groups and also other companies suspended their services for crypto companies. If you want to know more about this news, I made a full video about it. You will find it into the right corner here. Just to summarize this story, the reality is that Mazars is an auditing company like one of the big four. Obviously, Mazars is just much smaller, that was supporting crypto companies, providing auditing and say, okay guys, you have done correctly your job evaluating your proof of reserves. Unfortunately, what happened with FTX, that was an audited company, made them stepping back for the simple reason that they said, okay guys, what is happening is that people are thinking, institutions thinking that for the only reason that we have made working with them, audience saying that what the kind of reserves that they have are good, maybe people can think that that company is reliable, while we as a company, we don't have the tools to evaluate for real the business and how solid is that company for real. That's the reason why they said, okay guys, we have done what we have done until now, but now we are stepping back. It's among you to decide how you want to proceed, but we don't want to work anymore with you. And that's a big problem for cryptos in general, because if we don't have players, big corporation, consultancy companies, or auditing companies that are working not just from the point of view of the code, like what is happening with Certic, that is one of the biggest auditing company of the code. I'm not talking about that security. I'm talking about how reliable is a crypto company from the financial point of view. Because in the moment when we are using CeFi, we are giving money to them, but we need to be sure that they are for real able to give us back what we are simply giving them. And that's the big question. So as you can see, it has been literally a hell of a year, but we learned also a lot. We learned that we need better leaders, people that are able to stand up and say, okay guys, this is what we do, this is what we have done, and they are transparent. We need to stop with this kind of behaviors like what we have seen with Daniela Sesta, Sifu, Andrew Cronje, but the same CZ that started this war with Sam, and the final result has been FTX failing and companies like Mazars stepping back and all the fingers pointed on and Binance saying you are not reliable and so on. We need leaders that are leaders for real for the industry, because we are a small industry and we need to act as one instead of fighting each other. On the other side, we have still a big security problem like we have seen with Wintermute, Mango Markets, Wormhole and so on. We had many different hacks during the last year and we need to solve them. On the other side, we need CeFi that are more reliable from the financial point of view, that are stopping to use leverage insane strategies that are not bringing the market anywhere else, if not to the failure. And finally, we need to understand how the market will go from the compliancy point of view, because that's a big problem and a big topic for the next year. Guys, let me know what do you think about this year. How did you live it? And if you had enough defense to go through it, and what is your expectation for the next year? Are you bullish? Are you still bearish? What do you think that the market will evolve according to what we have seen during this last year? Guys, thank you for following me. Just remind to leave us a big thumbs up and drop a comment in the comment section, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye guys.